Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming back my stand-up comedy friend from the Bay Area, Carole Acuna. You may remember her, I had her on earlier this summer, and I'm going to have her back on the show today to do a very serious episode. I hope it's not going to be too serious. I mean, I hope we get to have fun and joke around at some point during it too. But we're going to be talking about some MeToo experiences because we're living in a very scary time, and this is the month where they have the Women's March coming up, and we're going to be talking about women's rights, Me Too movement, and everything that's been going on and stuff. And I hope it's going to be a good one and stuff. And I'm going to try to put some humor into certain things and stuff, and I'm sure she will as well. But yeah, here's my interview with Carole Acuna, back again.
Hello?
Carole, how the fuck are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome that you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, welcome back. I've missed you.
Oh, yeah, me too. Are you recording right now?
Yep.
You're recording right now. It's live.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, yeah, we're in the middle of a very scary and very interesting time with the Me Too movement.
That is right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And
what are your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on that exactly?
I think it's very. I think women coming forward and naming guys is good, but the right guys, the ones who truly are the predators, not the ones who did something, stupid, when they were much more younger and immature, not, guys that are, I can't describe it really. You know what I mean? Do you get the gist of it?
Yeah, I know you mean that the whole thing about the Me Too movement is it lumps together sexual harassment, sexual just perversion, and rape all together, and it's not the same thing.
Right.
Raping somebody is a lot different than maybe somebody sexually harassing you at work, you know? So for me, it's like very drastic, very different. And so if a lot of people are saying me too, the truth is everyone's pretty much been sexually harassed, every gender, in some way, shape, or form. So not everyone can say hashtag me too in that case.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, it's too generalized.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when it first happened and thing with Harvey Weinstein and everything, I was just shocked and I was just disgusted at all that stuff. And then next thing you know, people are saying stuff that they're wasting so much valuable media time for. Back in the 70s, Dustin Hoffman asked his personal assistant for a foot massage or something. It's like, who wants to hear about that? That's nothing. Because has he done it since?
Yeah, and all these things are coming out. I mean, the good thing about it is there are people doing perverted things, and when it comes to sexual perversion, I guess, or just sexual harassment, which is again different than rape.
Yeah.
And then the definition of rape isn't only penetration, so this is very it can become convoluted. It's just the definition of it in order to understand that, and then to believe people, because then a lot of people are like, well, people are just lying. Everyone's just lying, and what the hell? Like, and there's whole, but I think this drastic on both ends. I mean, the good thing is it is helping people wake up about that. And I also know people, men, that were sexually molested and raped and on all that. So I'm aware of both genders. was a huge epidemic.
Mm-hmm. Are you open about your story?
Yeah. So you said that something happened to you too, right?
Yes, a couple things.
And then, what was that? You want me to? Who wants to go first?
Oh, you can tell yours first.
I mean, there's a different things, but well, I don't want to. Okay, because we're all in the air. I won't say who I want to like protect people.
Yeah.
I'll just say two family members. So first, there was someone in my family that sexually molested me and my two brothers, and I was 3, and I was in preschool, and CPS came to the preschool because I was acting out, and that's how they found out, because I was acting out, and I went after CPS gave the talk. I was talking to them about like some nightmares about fire. They thought that my parents were devil worshippers, but
Yeah.
that got them to see some things that were going on. And then my family member went to jail, and then I went to therapy for a couple years, and then after that, another family member started to do things to me and film it and take photos of it.
Oh my
And
God.
I didn't do anything because I just thought that was normal. And obviously, looking back, I should have definitely been in therapy, but I thought that was normal because I had already been growing up in that, and so that was going on for a number of years. Then my first boyfriend lied about his age, so that was, and he was physically abusive, and that was statutory rape because he was pretending to be in high school even though he was like past college. I don't even know how that even got through, but because he just looked young. But and then from there, just that pattern of abuse, because I still hadn't, because I was having these repressed memories. It just went on through my life. I had different people I had to deal with people with either physical abuse or alcohol, drug abuse, and finally I was able to see a pattern, and I went to therapy as an adult a few years ago, and I'm still, like healing from it and figuring out these patterns so I could, get progressed in my life, and instead of repeating these patterns, because it just, I have PTSD because of it, and just a lot of parts of my life have been affected by it, and I'm able to overcome it, and I'm able to be really compassionate because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know there's things that could be good that come from bad things. You could be strong and compassionate and all that, and so then I like to help as many people as I can rise from things as well, whatever it may be, because I could see just how it could affect your whole entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to get as healthy as possible and help other people do so.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is terrible. It sounds like human trafficking there.
It's pretty horrible, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I should take what I'm working on is taking ownership of it instead of just saying but or being like everything's okay. It's like you take ownership of it. Take ownership. Yeah, do that, and I guess sitting in the ownership is what I'm working on right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a family friend situation that lasted a year when I was 7, 8 years old and stuff. I don't want to go too much into it, but it was pretty bad, I have to say. Um, but I will tell you this though, and um, 4 years ago when I was homeless, I was staying in this disabled like commuter home place, and there was this attendant there. She started working there. I was there for 3 months, and she started working there like within a month or so. And her and I got off on the wrong foot. She was very nosy and stuff, and she was just always flirting with me and just being weird and everything. And during the last week that I was there was this one night because I was working as a security guard from 4 p.m. to midnight, 5 nights a week and stuff. And I had to let them know when I was going to be home late at night because they locked the door at a certain time. And she one night like around 8:30 she was like texting me, when are you gonna come home and stuff, and I got really mad because she was just always getting under my skin, and I just told her, you know exactly what time I'm coming home and everything, and I just don't appreciate you being nosy and all this blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
and she was like all apologetic and everything and stuff, and I said, okay, I'm sorry, I I'm sorry. I'm just not having a great day, you know, at work and everything. So I go home that night. I go to sleep, and then around 7 in the morning, after everybody was gone, I was always the last one to leave. I was always gone by like 8 a.m. and like everyone was gone by 7 a.m. or whatever. I'm in my bed sleeping, and I'm thinking that what I'm feeling is what is I'm dreaming, and I wake up and she's making out with me, and
Oh.
yeah, she's just making out with me, and she's just talking dirty and all this stuff, and just tickling me and touching me and stuff, and then she had to stop because she was afraid of getting caught and stuff. And that happened a couple of days. So then I ended up staying with a friend, and then I found out that I was going to be out of there the following week. And so this continued and everything. And the last, oh yeah, the last night that I was working, living there and stuff, I wanted to see how far she would go. And so I texted her and I said, hey, I'm moving tomorrow and stuff. Want to have some fun before I leave and stuff. And then she sent me this text saying, um, no, no, I don't like you like that. Delete my number when you leave, stuff like that. And I'm thinking that's fucking weird.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm packing up and everything the next morning, and then the guy who owned the place was saying, "Oh, I heard you made her uncomfortable or something." And I was like, "Me? I fucking woke up and she was making out with me, and that lasted a couple of days." And he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And that was that. And but everybody, especially all the guys that were staying in that place, because there was like five of us, all the guys in there, they were all like waiting around to see if I was going to like do something to her or something, which was fucking weird, you know,
Yeah.
fucking weird. And then 3 weeks ago, I'm in the Bay Area visiting, and I'm watching the news one night, and I find out they got busted for human trafficking and weapon possession.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the guy who owned the place had a couple places. He had places for disabled people, old people, and children. And they were Filipino, and so they were like getting people from the Philippines and bringing them to them, and they were like making them work for them as slaves 24 hours a day without stopping. And there was weapons in their reach, especially with the children there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, I could not believe that.
You had no idea when you were there. Wow.
I had no idea about the weapons or the human trafficking. All I knew is I wasn't safe. And waking up with that girl making out with me was, the big one. And thank God I was out of there within a week.
You didn't like. Well, she made out with you a couple times, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you didn't report it?
No, because well, I told I told my mother about it and stuff, and we both knew that I was going to be out of there pretty soon, like within a week. But I was just afraid of reporting it because I don't know. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was drinking at the time, and I was afraid that something would happen. I don't know what, but it's just I wasn't in the right frame
Yeah.
of mind. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got out of there. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Just in the nick of time.
Yeah, I'm just glad that they got busted though, because oh my god, that's just terrible.
Oh, I know.
Beyond words, it's terrible. And back back at the end of the year, beginning of this year, there was a comedian who in the Bay Area, a female comedian who I had a consensual sexual encounter with, whose husband caught her, and she pulled Me Too shit on me, and it got back to a lot of comedians that don't like me that were fucking trying to sabotage me earlier this year.
Oh my gosh, that's so horrible.
Yeah,
She's like lying about it.
yeah, she was like lying about it, saying it wasn't consensual and all that stuff. And after some comedians were like talking shit to me on Facebook about it and stuff, I went to go message her, and she had blocked me on Facebook. And
Oh my
a
gosh.
bunch of people blocked me or unfriended me on Facebook because of it. And I didn't need them anyway. I was always hearing that they were talking shit about me anyways, so it didn't bother me. But do you know Pete Munoz?
I recognize the name.
Yeah, he's a San Jose comedian. He's like one of the most hated comics out there. He's a jerk, and he and I have been feuding for quite a while now and stuff. Yeah, he was like making references to it on Facebook and stuff with him thinking that I didn't even see it, right? And we got into a big old war and stuff. And I came down for a week because I was auditioning for America's Got Talent, and I went to a couple open mics to perform and stuff. And there was this one comedian, Omar Karishi, and he and I have never really had a conversation nor talk, but we've always known of each other and stuff. Two nights in a
Yeah.
row, two nights in a row, we're at these dive bars doing open mic, and he's up there, and the places are not that busy; they're pretty dead, and he's using me as crowd work and mentioning all that shit, and basically relaying Pete's messages, because Pete doesn't have the balls to say it to my face in public and shit, and it was so fucking embarrassing. And the second night, I came so close to fucking punching him, and my friend stopped me from doing it. Oh, I was just fuming. Yeah.
Wow, I can't even believe that. That's just so horrible.
Oh, let me tell you something. That scene, I mean, all of Bay Area stand-up comedy is pretty mean, but that part of the scene, oh, they are assholes in that part. I mean, they are just, they're all on drugs, they're all drinking, they're all being stupid, they're all doing comedy just for hanging out over there on that side. And they're just very mean people.
What, in San Jose?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, I know some San Jose comedians, but I guess like that particular group of them, I'm not that close to.
well, you're very lucky because they're very mean, and they they talk behind people's backs left and right, and they're all jealous. It's there's a word I learned the other day, and it made sense. Audacious, you know.
Yeah, I know that word. I was actually just looking it up.
Yeah, it's emotional jealousy, and they're just cruel. They don't care.
Audacious. It also, yeah, you can mean emotional jealousy and it's something else.
Yeah.
Well, I try to stay out of gossip. Definitely try to stay out of the drama and gossip. I really don't like that.
Mhm.
But speaking of comedy, that's actually helped me get through a lot of the trauma and drama. But yeah, actually, that was my defense mechanism or protector, whatever you want to call it. But through all of the hard years of everything, the way that I was able to endure it was through being funny and making jokes and like entertaining people around me and stuff. And that's why I started stand-up comedy. I mean, I didn't know that at the time. I was going to class clown in school and stuff because I was just always making jokes. But that was just my defense mechanism to not let people see how much I was hurting inside. So instead of showing the immense pain that I was going through, I just like flipped it and just was kind of awkwardly, like slapsticky, like what the hell's happening? But that was my defense mechanism, and I learned that in therapy, and that's also why I took like a break from comedy, is really to understand that, and then I'm able to get to it from a different, this angle of being more healed and understanding why I do certain things, and it helps it go deeper.
Right. Yeah, it's just become a really strange time and everything. And there's so many trolls on the internet, and I've been fortunate enough. The only trolls I've had is people who are like trolling me for this podcast, or like for this podcast, and like certain people I have on and stuff on YouTube, and I've had to block a lot of people, and I just think that this troll culture is partly the reason for the time that we're living in.
The troll culture is the reason why we're living in this time.
Yeah, with all these things happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it all correlates, right? It's all feeding off each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these people, these are people who again wouldn't say this stuff to your face in public, and they're just, they're. And I know a lot of them are like, being paid to do this by somebody, for whatever reason, to like slander their reputation or something, too. These people, they're just all talk, is what they are, and there's people out there with a lot of money who are afraid of these people, like they're an angry mob or something, and they're afraid if they don't eliminate this person that's being called out, then it's their ass, and that's not really the case. And, somebody's got to blow the whistle on this, and I hope somebody does.
Definitely. So is there a way you could help blow a whistle on
it? What can I do? I have no power.
Well, I think you actually saying this on your show, that's actually like putting a spotlight on it. It's good.
Well, yeah. I mean, but, only so many people out there listen to this. But yeah, at least I voice my opinion on that.
Yeah, yeah.
But so so I mean, what do you do to deal with the pain? I mean, do you take like antidepressants or anything?
No, again, the way I would deal with it for years without even realizing it was by making jokes, and you've seen me make really weird faces and stuff. I mean, I was known as Rubber Face, like my nickname was Rubber Face, or like some people when people started to know who Jim Carrey was, they're like, oh, you're like the female Jim Carrey. But I didn't see myself. I just happened to make really weird faces too. That's what I just do. I just make jokes and just kind of actually what that's really is doing is if there's a way of releasing it through the pain, through the humor, but there's also a way of suppressing it. So I was releasing some of it, but I was also suppressing some of it. So therapy helps. I'm a Meisner trained actor now, and when you go through the Meisner training, you're forced to really look at these sides of yourself, and so I've really like let out a lot, and I'm back to therapy, and just doing continual work on it. I meditate, and also helping other people heal and hearing other people's stories, sharing my story, and it's a step-by-step process, and that's what I do. I embrace it because sometimes it's like, gosh, shouldn't I be healed by now? But as my therapist says, it's like you can't force it. It's very delicate, it's step by step, and embracing every moment and understand where I'm at. And just because not everybody understands where I'm at, it doesn't matter. I know where I'm at, and I don't need to explain myself to anyone. And I know what triggers me sometimes, and I'm still learning other things that trigger me. So it's just embracing the process.
I know, and something that's very difficult for me. I have a specific comedy persona, and it's not PC at all, and it's very perverted. And I am I get this from my parents. We're very freaky and perverted, and we laugh at raunchy things and stuff, But I'm not a creepy predator, and I'm a gentleman, and I respect women, and that's how I was brought up. And then there's these trolls that like say things, and then there's comedians who say, oh, he really is like that or something like and I have to deal with that shit all the time. There's a lot of female comics in the Bay Area, or yeah, quote unquote comics, I should say, because they they don't know, the difference between the persona and the real life and stuff, and they think that every
Yeah.
guy that they meet at the open mic is hitting on them, and stuff. I have to deal with all that all the time, and I just think it's bullshit because, your act is your act, and then off stage, you're different.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So are you saying that like you're really vivacious in your act, and some women are like, oh, he's flirting with me?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, during the last 2 years that I was in the Bay Area and I was doing comedy a lot, and I spent a lot of time at Rooster T. Feathers, I met a lot of women comics, or women trying comedy there and stuff. And if I thought their act was great and they wanted to pursue it, I offered them, my help and stuff and mentorship and everything. And for the most part, they were all pretty cool and stuff. But then when I go to the dive bars or the coffee houses and stuff, they think I'm hitting on them, and it's just really insulting to me.
Oh, yeah, they mistake you being nice for hitting on them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that happens to me too. I guess as a woman, I'm just nice and like a social butterfly, and some men think, oh, she's talking to me because she likes me. It's like, no, I'm talking to you because you're a human being.
Yeah.
No matter talking to you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
And
I like to put gender aside. I mean, I'm aware of people's genders, but sometimes I feel like it is true. People treat people a certain way because they're a certain gender. Like, oh, you're saying that because I'm a woman, or you're saying that because this person's a man. I like to just put it in
yeah.
terms of, would I answer this way if you were a woman? Am I answering this way because you're a man? All that kind of stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just stupid, And I started seeing signs of this stuff when I was in high school, and like I would tell dirty jokes, and people would get offended, and that was the beginning of that. But then when I started doing comedy at the Brainwash, I see all these PC millennials, in our age group, there with their laptops, and drinking their coffee or whatever, and just not responding to anything dirty that I'm saying. And then once I got out of the hospital from my accident and I started pursuing comedy, and then these much younger generation millennials are there and stuff, and so many of them are not getting what I'm saying, both because my jokes are dirty and I'm making 80s references and stuff that
Oh yeah.
that there, I that then when I, then that's when I realized, okay, we're in trouble now. There's just no like way of pleasing the younger generation with comedy. They're just soulless twats, quite frankly.
Wait, what are you talking about? What? Why? Because he was making '80s references?
Oh, not
Yeah, yeah.
not
There's
so
two decades of millennials. There's '80s and '90s millennials.
well, not so much that, but because they're just easily offended now.
People that are born in the '90s.
Yeah,
But when were you born?
I was born in 1983.
Okay, yeah, we're both '80s. So yeah, we're both millennials. We're like we're the older millennials, but we're still millennials.
The elder millennials, yes, but I think that we're the last cool generation because we had baby boomer parents, and we we inherited a lot of their free spiritedness and their raunchy sense of humor, you know.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of '90s kids, you know, George Carlin brought this up in his last couple HBO specials about how overprotective, you know, parents were at that time with kids, you know, that were born in the '90s and
But
stuff.
we're 90s kids too.
Yeah,
The 90s I was too.
but I'm talking about the ones who were like, you know, born in the '90s though. You know,
Okay, well,
not '90s, early 2000s, we'll say.
well, yeah, but for me, I don't feel that difference. I know that some people talk about that, but for me, I felt a lot. Well, I think a lot of it because I went through like the trauma in the '80s. So for me, I feel like I really started to. I don't remember a lot of the '80s because it was so traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the '90s was traumatic too, but so I could really remember more of the '90s than I can the '80s. So in a way,
Oh yeah.
socially like younger than I should. I don't know.
Yeah.
Immature.
Yeah. But like what I mean is though is that, you know, in the late '90s, early 2000s, like I don't know, the parents got just way too soft, and you know they just started being overprotective with them, you know, doing things like, you know, wearing helmets on the way to school, um, just you know, putting bumper stickers on their cars that validate, you know, the kids' achievements and stuff like that. You know, just soft stuff. You know, and oh my God,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, kids were getting suspended or expelled from school just because they kissed a girl, and they're like 5 years old.
Well, those are some schools. It's not every school.
I know, but it did happen, is what I'm trying to say, and that never
Oh,
happened when I was growing up.
well, when I was growing up, CPS came because I was the one kissing. I was the kid that was kissing the boys. Well, back in my day, CPS came to my school.
God, I wish I knew you then. You would have been my first kiss.
Oh, I know. I remember. It's still pretty creepy though when you see a kid, acting out some stuff they shouldn't be acting out. It looks creepy. You're like, wait, they're 3. They shouldn't know about this yet.
Oh, when I was 7 years old, I had my first girlfriend. She came from Texas, like halfway through first grade, and she was the only girl in the class that treated me good because all the girls treated me bad. You know, they gave me Valentines, and and it made me think that they actually liked me after all, but it turned out they didn't.
Oh,
But I had this girlfriend, you know, and you know I mean we'd be in my room, we'd be in my bedroom and stuff, and we'd like, you know, show each other our body parts and stuff and do stuff like that, you know,
yeah.
and nobody knew about it. And I remember for years I thought to myself, you know, what if she was the girl that got away? Because I changed schools, I changed elementary schools. I saw her in middle school, and she went through a very dark time. She tried to jump off of our school. She
Oh my
was
God.
suicidal, yeah. And then when I heard she went to a different high school, and I heard that she was doing drugs there and not doing very good and everything. And then I remember I reached out to her and told her how I felt about her and stuff after she had been married and had kids for a few years and stuff. And it freaked her out, and I never heard from her. But I was in touch with her best friend who told me all that stuff. And unfortunately, now they hate each other.
Yeah, good. Well, you said fortunately.
I said, unfortunately, now I said now they hate each other.
Okay, yeah. So wait, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just waiting to see how this strange time is going to play out. You know.
With all the with like Trump and all that, all these horrible things happening.
Well, we're off to a good start now. I mean, you know, Cosby's going to jail.
Are you glad about that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sad for the fact that he did all that stuff, for many, many years, and we didn't know about it. And I feel bad for what happened to all those women and stuff. But
Yeah.
I love the guy's comedy. It's a very hard, balance there.
Yeah, but again, like, I'm glad that it's shedding a light on this horrible thing that people don't want to talk about. I mean, I thought and it's still, even though there's a light being shed on this subject, um, even though if people are aware of it, people still just blank out and just change the subject. Because if something ever comes up in a conversation and I bring it up just to bring a voice to it,
Mm-hmm.
uh, people's eyes glaze over and they change the subject. It's like, uncomfortable, don't talk about it. It's like, what?
Yeah,
We should definitely.
you can't even have a conversation with people anymore about anything political or social economical or anything. It's just everybody's just like afraid of offending somebody now. And, quite frankly, I'm not.
Yeah, that's why it's good. Yeah, speak your voice. A lot of people are afraid to speak it for either they could be afraid to offend someone or they're afraid to even say that it happened to them. There could be that element too.
Absolutely.
Could be repressing something that they forgot about because repressed memories. Have you ever had a repressed memory?
Um,
Maybe you're so repressed you don't even know it's there. But
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I can't think of anything specifically.
yeah, that's something that happens that could trigger it. So so that so that's what happened with me. I had these memories repressed for years, and something happened where it triggered it. They came flooding in like I was like puzzle pieces in my brain, and kind of like, I don't know. You can imagine some sort of drug trip, but it was my brain just having these memories coming in, and so I was like, I knew right then and there. Whoa, this is the reason why all these things have been happening to me. Now I have to figure out what to do with all this. So it's amazing what the human body can do to protect itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they hear a lot about PTSD with people that have been to war. People that have been through a lot of sexual trauma have PTSD, and so I like to let people know that because some people just minimize it. They just go, oh well, somebody just kind of touched you a little bit when you were, not like that. It's so bad, but there's varying degrees of it.
Yeah.
So PTSD is a big thing with various types of trauma.
Mm-hmm. When you got older and you started being sexually active and everything, how did you reconcile that with the molestation?
The truth is, I still am, and I still have blackouts. So I actually, to be really vulnerable, haven't, had sex for like 4 years because I've been healing and going to therapy and figuring out why I've had blackouts, what triggers it, and I think I see what triggers it somewhat, but I don't know. I might, I don't know, I might be in a relationship soon. I don't know, but the next time I am in a relationship, it's gonna be with somebody who I can talk to and trust.
Yeah.
Not, for me, flings don't work because I have PTSD. I mean, I get triggered and it's like what the hell's happening?
Yeah.
So it is. I don't get triggered all the time, but when I do, I like leave the room. Like my mind goes somewhere else. So it's just to have somebody who can understand that and be there and work through it.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I come from a family of freaks, and we love sex in our family. You know, and it's easy for me to have a fling. Given what's happened to me. I think if what's happened to me did happen, I would still be this way. I don't think it made that much of a difference, but I do feel I just can't believe how people can just be appear perfectly normal but be monsters. you know and I
Yeah,
think
it's true. Yeah, it's absolutely true.
I think back to I think back to that, all the time, but it's never when I'm having sex or anything like that. But it happens like at just certain times when I hear like similar things happening in the news, with
Yeah.
certain with certain children, getting hurt and everything. And
Yeah, and I would say that's why I feel so compelled to help bring a voice to that, is because PTSD is real, and it does happen, not to everyone, but some, in trauma, and there's major trauma that definitely can happen, and it definitely can affect what happens when you're actually doing, the act of, and then it's just, your body goes into this natural defense mechanism, just like you hear people at war, what triggers the same thing. It's like, just to have that, you could think of it as your innocence taken away, or just have that vulnerable place where somebody did something to you, where it's supposed to be this ecstatic sharing, where it's like now you feel good, and then the next minute you're so scared. It's like, it's this portal, this very sacred portal, and so I'm doing a lot of work with it, and I think I am progressing, because a few years ago I wouldn't really be able to talk about it like this, so I know that I am, and there's healing is happening.
hmm that's great. I'm glad that everything is getting better, because you're such a good person, and you've been supportive of me, and I appreciate it.
No, thank you. Yeah, and I'm glad that it seems like you're doing good. You're doing good with it. You're progressing and doing what you can to improve and keep climbing up.
I have my good days and my bad days, like everyone.
Yeah, definitely. It's a process. And then it's also not to say that I'm not sexual or anything, because I know you're saying, "Oh, I'm freaky." Well, hey, I can be too, but it's like you can be freaky and have PTSD. So try to figure out how to visually expose. Maybe I'll find some strange joy in both. I don't know. Figure out. I don't know. I'm working on with my stand-up comedy. I bring it up a little bit, and I'm working on some more jokes around it.
hmm
Some PTSD jokes.
Yeah, I definitely have PTSD, especially from my car accident, and and I don't know. It comes out of nowhere sometimes, and I wish I could get a hold on it. And I'm trying, but when I'm performing, that's when I'm the most happy. That's the best therapy I find for me.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love performing, and I also love just so many different ways of healing, whether it's talk therapy. I'm actually going to get into have you heard of EMDR therapy?
No.
So it helps you if you have PTSD or anything hugely traumatic, these memories that keep coming up. It helps you slowly erase the memories, like how things fade. So
hmm
it's like this rapid eye movement thing with the therapist. Something about the therapist has you look at something and recall the memory. And as you're going through that rapid eye movement, every time you recall that memory, as you keep going through the EMDR therapy, the memory gets softer and softer and fades back. So it's not as potent.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start that in a month.
Oh, that's great. I know you're gonna do great with that.
That could even help your car accident too, if you wanted to try it.
I'll consider it. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Do you have any gigs coming up?
Yeah. So see, every Saturday at 7, I'm at 1630 Powell Street in San Francisco, which is North Beach neighborhood next to Washington Square. Right at the end of Powell Street. It's called Peña Pachamama. So every Saturday at 7 in North Beach, and Thursdays I just do in Pidasa right now, hanging out in Pidasa on 19th and what is it? Like 19th and Betrayal around there in San Francisco. A bunch of new stuff. I would just say if you go to my website, I'm having a huge website overhaul. So many new things are happening. They'll get more clear in October. So CaroleAcuna.com. CaroleAcuna.com, and I'll have a lot of fun, interactive events, live events, and online.
Nice, nice. Well, Carole, I'm glad we got to do this again.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
To open up.
Yeah, opened up, and it was pretty emotional, I have to say. Sorry, I've been stuttering a lot. I'm just so tired. I need a nap.
Oh, no, I understand. And a lot of times, for me, like rehashing some stuff like this, it makes me exhausted. So I'm like, all right, I just need to go rest for, Anyway, so I could completely understand if you were exhausted, or if you were exhausted before.
Yeah, it's like I got up a little bit earlier to do an interview today and stuff.
Okay, so you'll get a good nap. Get a nice nap.
Nice nap before I go to the store and pick up dinner.
Oh, yeah, there you go. It's a nice day.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
absolutely. Let's do this again, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, yeah, talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, have a good rest of the day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
There you have it. Carole Acuna. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Carole. I'm glad we got to open up and talk about personal stuff, despite being very tired today. I'm glad we got to talk about that stuff because it's a serious issue that's plaguing our country. And I don't really get political, but every now and then I got to address certain things that I feel that's on my mind. And I'm glad we got to do this. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.